And then, as we're going along, you know, every once in a while, I think I see something on the side of the road, right? But sometimes I think I see something. We pulled over a couple times.
Marisa rarely ever sees anything. Like, her sight is...
Well, I don't have the best eyesight. I said, I think I see a bear, and I was kind of debating and telling Tim, because I'd been wrong so many times before. We pulled over close, and guess what?
It wasn't a bear. Of course it was a bear.
It was a bear.
It was a bear. It was a black bear.
Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of Two Up and Overloaded.
Yay. I'm Tim Notier.
And I'm Marisa Notier. And in this series, we travel all over the world on our KTM 1190 motorcycle.
Yep.
We've been through the Americas, all the way down to the bottom of South America. We've been halfway up through Africa.
So, bam, down. And then we went halfway up Africa. And then we went all the way up to the tippy top of Alaska.
In the last episode, we were journeying down through Canada, coming back from our trip in Alaska, and we were taking a different route than we did on our way north.
The Can-Am.
No.
The Yukon.
On our way north, we were taking a highway called the Cassiar, which is kind of a more remote road. It's along the western side of Canada. And this time we decided to go down the Alcan, which is the Alaska Highway, the Alaska-Canada Highway. We had just seen all of this wildlife in the last episode. The buffalo were causing a bit of a problem for us because we wanted to go to these hot springs, but it turned out that we kind of miscalculated our timing, and we ended up having to ride back to our hotel room from the hot springs at night.
And to be clear, the buffalo weren't a problem to us. We kind of made an unwise decision.
Yeah, in general, we don't like to ride at night, but it's especially bad when there are buffalo all over the road, and we had seen a moose that day too.
Yeah.
So we were really fortunate in that our ride back to the hotel was totally fine. We did see a moose on the side of the road, but we were very careful.
Our ruby lights blared.
Yes.
It was just...
Yes.
Yes.
So we arrived back safe and sound, and after that wonderful soak in the hot spring, we had a very nice
We got back to our little like Apollo 11 pod of a hotel room that we had. All the hotel rooms were sold out, so we just stayed in a, what did they call it?
It was the staff room.
The staff room.
Very cute room. We had a very nice night that evening, and we woke up the next day excited for the day because this was supposedly going to be a 9 out of 10 day.
Ooh, yeah.
Good morning. So today we are hopefully going to have a 9 out of 10 day. And what does that mean? So remember our friend Ryan and Laurel and their little kid Matthew, who we met up with on our way to Dead Horse, and then they came and stayed with us when we were stuck on the Denali Highway in Alaska. Well, Ryan once took this road, which is the Alcan, It's the major Canadian highway that connects the rest of Canada to Alaska. So this is all new territory for us. And today's ride, Brian told us that it is awesome. He gave it a 9 out of 10, which is his normal scale for judging roads. Considering that we've done a bunch of awesome roads with him and I totally trust his judgment, I am excited for today's ride.
Based on the opinion of our buddy Ryan.
We really trusted his opinion when it came to roads.
And he said 9 out of 10, which I was like, nah, dude, that's crazy. Like, what would you call, Hatcher's Pass? And he was like 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah,
So,
he has some very strict standards.
Yeah. So we had high hopes for what the day could bring. And when we got back on the road, we were going in the direction of the hot springs that we had stayed at or visited the night before.
Once again, we saw these bison on the side of the road.
And little baby bison.
Oh,
there's
so
nothing
nice.
cuter than little baby bisons. I wonder if they're the same ones from yesterday further down the road.
Maybe.
I think buffalo have the right of way in British Columbia.
Yeah.
That guy didn't really care. I think everybody sees those, yearly videos on Facebook or something of somebody, getting reamed and chucked around by buffalo in Yellowstone. But we try to avoid that. If anybody read my first book, we were almost T-boned a buffalo. So I have a newfound respect in my elder years.
We were really concerned that the weather was not going to be good. Because, this is a 9 out of 10 day. Like, we had to absorb it for what it was. But thankfully, ever since the morning, it was blue skies, gorgeous sunny weather. The temperature was really, really nice, and we were just keeping our fingers crossed that it was going to stay like that for the rest of the day. And as we headed further down the road, we started twisting into the mountains.
And then out of nowhere were like these little caribou.
Caribou!
Insanely awesome. There's Rudolph and Dancer and Prancer. Hey! And we've seen some caribou up close up in Alaska, but this one was again like it was like a family of 4 or 5 or 6 or something.
Yeah, it was a bit of a herd of caribou, and they were just crossing the road.
Okay.
All right. I think it's a dad and a mom and a teenager and a baby. Hold your head up. Hey guys. Hey. Yeah.
But they were just foraging on the grasses on the side of the road and keeping their family safe, keeping away from people. But you were able to get off the bike and kind of get close to them. So caribou are the same exact animal as reindeer. Reindeer is usually what they call them in Europe, and then we call them caribou here in North America. And we had only ever seen them up in the Arctic, in the tundra. So I'd never seen this kind of forest variety of caribou.
And they're so cool because they have like frontal, like, they're
Horns,
not,
yeah.
they're not like, Rocky and Bullwinkle style. They, they got these like emo, like,
Emo?
I don't know, like, yeah, it's like right in front of their heads. It's like combing the antlers down. But a real
I get it.
unique look to them that is, I just liked and appreciated and hope they didn't use them on me, but I like to look at them from afar.
Here come the caribou, and there is a baby amongst them. They are so close. It's awesome. I've just been sitting still here while Tim's been taking pictures, and they've been getting closer and closer. It looks really far away in this camera, but it's pretty remarkable to be sitting here and watching them. So already our day was super awesome. I had been concerned that we had kind of been so lucky with seeing wildlife the day before that we'd used up our wildlife quota and we just wouldn't see it anymore. But this was turning out to be fantastic.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, I'd give it a 10 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10 is pretty good.
Yeah.
So the ride through Northern Rocky Mountains National Park was amazing.
Yeah.
It went along this super, super blue lake called Muncho Lake. And you could tell that this water was glacial water that was creating that super starkly blue color to it. It's a lot of supers.
Starkly super blue, folks.
Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. I try to help you, but you keep reading between the lines. There's nothing there for you to complicate, we're not aligned. You say you listen, but guessing that's just another sign of growing up. You're growing old, your life keep passing by. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah.
As we headed further down the road, we came to this bridge that had the
yeah.
best sign ever. So you've probably heard us talk about how we hate those graded bridges.
Yeah, they're not so great.
But they make the motorcycle kind of like squirm, right?
Especially when you have knobby tires, right? Like you just kind of drift. You don't really have complete control. I mean, you're not going like 7 feet this way and that way, but you're going, 6 inches that way, and you kind of correct, but like, it's not fun. There's the stuff that they make drawbridges out and stuff, the little,
Yeah,
checkered stuff.
a grate.
A grate.
A metal grate.
A metal grate, folks. But
Well-
we saw a little sign of like this guy that was like vibrating.
On a motorcycle.
Uh-oh, here comes some fun,
Like, that was nice of them to warn us that this
Yeah.
was going to be a
In
graded
the
bridge.
States, it's just like, good luck, buddy. Hope it's not wet.
But Canada was so thoughtful.
They're like, if this is you, pull over. You know, if you get along
Hold
better.
on tight.
Yeah. Jittery, bittery, jitteries, you know? So there's that sign that says that we may get the iggity jiggity biggities. And then, yeah, we went over the little bridge.
Yeah.
And this one was a short
It
one.
wasn't so bad.
Are you getting the iggity jiggity
No, that was quite simple.
biggities? All right.
And then, as we're going along, you know, every once in a while, I think I see something on the side of the road, right? But sometimes I think I see something. We
And
pulled
Marissa
over a
rarely
couple
ever
times.
sees anything. Like, her sight is...
Well, I don't have the best
does
eyesight. But, you know, I thought I saw a bear a couple of times before on this trip, and we pulled over, and then, you know, it's a rock or something like that, or a bush. And this time I said, I think I see a bear, and I was kind of debating and telling Tim, because I'd been wrong so many times
Very
before.
judgmental. Very judgmental, folks.
But I thought, you know, if it is a bear, it's worth it just to stop.
Yeah.
We pulled over close, and guess what?
It wasn't a bear. Of course it was a bear.
It was a bear!
It was a fuzzy wuzzy, it was a bear. It was a black bear.
And so, in order not to get close to this bear, because that's definitely something we didn't want to
Yeah.
do,
Threw up the drone again.
put the drone out, and
My new
this
favorite
bear
thing.
did not care at all about that drone. He was just munching on berries and plants and just digging through the bushes and just having a good old bear time.
Yeah, so we got some cool pictures of our little buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I wanted to get back on the road and continue to go down those cool little canyon slot roads next to, you know, the very blue rivers and lakes. It was just crazy.
The sun started setting through the trees, and overall we were like, wow, what a day. Think
Yep.
about it.
9 out of
We have
10.
seen, caribou, buffalo, a bear. I mean, and then of course all the gorgeous scenery surrounding us. But this was the time of year where the sun actually sets.
Yep.
And so we were starting to think about where we were going to stay the night. And it didn't seem to be like there were too many camping options. So we found this one camping option on iOverlander that was like 20 miles off of the road, which is quite a ways to go. If it turns out to be closed or something's wrong with it, then that would have really been stretching into the night again for us. But we were like, you know, we have to take this chance because there's just not very many options. The road there was really pretty. The forest got huge, these huge trees. And once we got there, we realized this is perfect.
It was really nice. But with a little romantic walk down to this lake.
I think we have chosen a spot. And I'm gonna check out this lake. Looks beautiful. Oh, that lake was so pretty.
Yeah. And the sun was setting and it was reflecting off of the lake, making like this cool, you know, dual sun kind of looking, you know, it was real pretty.
Oh yes, this'll do. Wow.
Yeah, it was a really, really beautiful day that was, you know, stitched together with a really beautiful evening.
time.
It's snack.
What do you got for snacks?
It's peanuts.
And I have also Mr. Peanuts,
Yep.
sunflower seeds. But this is nice. Tent is up, and I call that a success. They say beautiful British Columbia, and they are right. My only problem was that since we had already just seen a bear on the side of the road, and I knew that there were bears all around this area, I'm always concerned when camping around bears. You know, you have to make sure that anything that has any smell to it, whether it's like deodorant or toothpaste or food, is out of the tent. All right, so the sun has set. The temperature is dropping really quickly, and we are putting everything away kind of sort of in a tree as best as we could to get it away from bears. Obviously we saw a bear today, so it's important. All of our food, all of our smelly things like my backpack, I cover it with a garbage bag and then put it up on this line. But I had just done something that in the moment I thought was a great idea, and then upon reflection realized it was a terrible idea. We'd just run out of soap, and so we bought this really great, super smells good soap. And I thought, oh, the extra bars of soap I'll put with our clothes in the clothes pannier to make our clothes smell wonderfully soapy. Well, then I realized, oh yeah, now everything we have smells really strongly of this soap. It's as high as we can get it. At least it's away from us. Getting ready to camp that night, that was, of course, first and foremost on my mind was, I hope a bear doesn't come around this campground.
Yeah.
But that will all be in the next episode. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give us a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below. Ding ding! And we'll be seeing you next time.
And then we want to thank all of our Patreons. We want to
Yes.
thank everybody who signed up on our YouTube members. There's, you know, a lot of Pete West hooked us
Yes.
up with some DJI mics. So this
Yeah.
is big thanks to you, buddy.
We also want to thank Emmaus Motorcycle Tours. They are a really, really cool company that actually goes on BDRs. If you don't know BDRs,
Backcountry discovery routes.
yeah, you have to get to know them. They're some of the best backcountry roads in the United States. They're absolutely fabulous, but it is great to go with other people, especially people who know what they're doing. So if you're
So don't
interested,
go with us. Go with them.
Exactly. If you're interested in doing that, you should check them out at Emmaus Moto Tours.
So peace, everybody.
Bye.
Stay safe.
And in the last episode, we were journeying.
Journeying.
And in the last episode, we were journeying. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row. Nailed it. Now, I'm not the only one who makes up words. I think you have to commit. Now just follow through
Journeying.
and just convince the world it's a word.